And today we're working on the graphing linear inequalities of two variables. It's assignment number 2. Don't worry about that it says number 2, that's just what it's called. But we're only going to be doing, I think it's a total of 2 pages on here. We're only going to be doing the first page. And I'll help you guys get started on this since we worked on it a little bit last week for the one day, just to kind of refresh your memory. But your directions for this, it says sketch the graph of each linear inequality. The first one I'm going to do here, number 3, I'm just going to go through and work on this one with you guys because it's kind of a weird one. There's only one variable for number 3. So let's go through and do this one together. And like I said, you're doing all of the first page for your assignment. So that means, so you'll also have to do number 3. And just another refresher, if you don't have a printer or if your printer is running out of ink or something, or you ran out of paper, if you have to draw this out on your own paper, just draw the y-axis up and down, draw the x-axis side to side, label y, x, and then you can do little tick marks. 1, 2, 3, however many. 1, 2, 3. Try and keep them evenly spaced. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. You might have to make it bigger. And then you can just draw your dots on there. Okay, I don't need all these other lines like here, here, here. I don't need all those, but if you want, that's fine. This is going to be much easier to do. Okay, so let's do number 3 together because this is a weird one. There's no other examples like this on this page. Like number 3, but I still want to kind of expose you guys to it a little bit there. So the first question we'll do together, number 3, it says x is greater than or equal to -2. It says the greater than or equal to because it doesn't look like the letter L. Okay, so we only have one variable. That means we're going to put a variable either on the y-axis up and down or on the x-axis side to side. For number 3, we have the one variable, it's x. Okay, so that means we're going to put a dot on the x-axis. This is a totally weird one. All your other questions are not like this. It's a little bit different. But for this one variable, we're putting a dot on the x-axis, and it's either going to be a vertical or horizontal line depending on where the dot goes. And for this one, since our point is going to go on the x-axis, we're going to put a dot on the -2 on the x-axis. We're going to look on the x-axis. That's the line that goes side to side, left to right, this one here. Okay, we're going to put a dot on -2, which is right here. And then we're going to draw our line, do our shading, okay? This one here, it's the greater than or equal to sign. Greater than or equal to sign. Whoops. So we have extra ink for the sign. You need to have extra ink for the line, okay? There's either solid or dashed. Do you guys remember what kind of line should I draw for number 3? Should I do a solid or dashed?
Solid.
Solid, perfect. So we're going to draw a solid line. And this one, since it's on the x-axis, it is going to be a vertical line. Solid vertical line on the x-axis. Okay, and then for your shading, it's always been either above or below. So this one, it's either left or right. There is no up or down. It's kind of weird. So to help you guys out, if we were to put this on a number line, here's my -2. You have extra ink for the sign, so extra ink for the dot. I would do a closed dot. Which way would I shade here if I were just on a number line? To the left or to the right if I were doing it on just a number line? This is from before spring break. See if you can dig into that brain. And remember, how would I shade that? Would I shade it to the left or to the right? Remember, your symbol, you can turn it into an arrow by putting that line in the middle there. So which way should I shade, to the left or to the right, if I were to do this on a number line?
The right.
Perfect. So for this one here, you would shade everything to the right, or you can go up and over. So that's just to kind of help you visualize and remember. For this one here, since we only have one variable and it's x, you would have a vertical line. And then you can just draw a number line like we did here to help you figure out if it's left or right. And for this one, it's to the right. So that means you're going to shade everything to the right. Okay. All of this stuff that's shaded in on the right side is your solution. For this assignment, I want you guys to also identify your solution. So when you're drawing your lines on there, try not to make it super dark and bold, like coloring in the entire thing like this. You can just draw lines like I did there, and then put a nice big S. Nice big bold S, that's going to stand for solution. This whole entire area here that's in the shaded area is a solution. Okay, so I just want you guys to know where your solution is. Any of those ordered pairs here in the shaded area is a solution, so that means like 0, 0 is a solution, or you could say the 0.5 comma 1, that is a solution. But let's see this point here, -5 comma 3. This one's not in the shaded area, so that is not a solution. Okay. So let's go through and we'll do one example that most of your other questions are going to be like here, only on the first page. That's all you're doing. Let's do number 6. This is going to be more like what you guys are working on for this assignment today. Okay, so all of the questions on the first page, they're already written in slope-intercept form. That was the y, whoops, let me turn my pen on. Y equals mx plus b. They're already in slope-intercept form on the first page. Okay, so from there, you can just start writing your important information. M equals B equals. What's in the same spot as M? And we're looking at number 6 now. And you can type it in the chat or turn your microphone on. What's in the same spot as M?
6.
Yep, perfect. So here's my 6. And then what's in the same spot as B?
1.
1, perfect. Okay, and then from there, we can start graphing it. What's the first thing I put on my graph? M or B, the slope or the y-intercept?
B.
B, the y-intercept. That's going to go on the graph first. That goes on the y-axis, the line that goes up and down. Up is positive y, down is negative y. And our B, the y-intercept, is a positive 1. So here's my y-intercept of a positive 1. This is how you graph them every single time. Now, the last question we just did, that was a weird one, so kind of just ignore that. Your first point on the y-axis, up and down, positive 1 is up, negative 1 would have been down, but it's positive. So there's my first dot, and then we're going to use our slope. You want it to be rise over run. So I'm going to turn that 6 into a fraction, put it over the invisible 1, and then we're going to do our graphing. If it's positive, you go up, and then which way do I go? To the left or to the right? I always go one way unless if I do the opposite.
The right.
The right. It's the right way to go. Okay, so you're going to go up 6 to the right 1. You're not going to start from the 0 origin, 0, 0. You are going to start from your y-intercept here. Okay, so from that dot, we're going to go up 6. So I would count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, I run out of space. Okay, so if you run out of space, this is when you do the opposite. Okay, so starting at that dot again, the y-intercept here. I was supposed to do up and to the right. What's the opposite of up and to the right?
Down and to the left.
Down and to the left, okay? So we were doing up 6, right 1, but we're going to do the opposite. From that dot, let's go down 6, left 1. So from here, I'm going to draw my little jumps so you guys can see as I'm moving, but I don't need you guys to do that on your paper. But from here, let's go down 6. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Don't put a dot yet. Just hold your pencil there. And then we're going to go to the left 1. From there to the left 1. Now I can draw my other dot. Okay. And then you would try and do another dot, but as you can see, we would run out of space. So technically, 2 dots is all you need in order to draw a line. Let's check and see what kind of line we're going to draw. Let's look at our symbol. We have the less than symbol because it looks like the letter L. Okay, less than symbol. We have less ink for the symbol, so I need to have less ink for the line. Should I have a shaded, or sorry, a dashed or solid line?
Dashed.
Dash. So let's draw a dashed line. That's where you leave little tiny spaces in between. We're using less ink, dashed line, and it's less than. So see if you can remember, or if you have your notes there. I don't have a fancy way to remember this, unless you guys found a way to remember. But should I shade above or below if it's less than?
Below.
Below, perfect. Okay, so this is kind of a weird one where it's like, which way is below? Sometimes they look a little bit funny. Sometimes it's almost like a perfectly vertical line. So this is where it comes into play. Put your pencil anywhere on that line and you can draw an arrow going straight down. An arrow going straight down anywhere on that line. And that's going to be everything below. So make sure you shade everything on that side of the graph. All of this area here is below the line. All of this area here is below the line. What part, because I want you guys to identify your solution, what part is the solution? Is it the shaded area here, or is it the part that's not shaded? What's the solution? I mentioned it with number
The shaded
3.
part.
The shaded part, perfect. So what I want you guys to do is put a big S. Ethan, I see your answer there, thank you. Put a nice big S. You can cover up that entire thing, make it even bigger than the last one. Nice big S so we can see this is your solution area. Everything in the shaded area. So that means if you were to pick any of those dots in the shaded area, it's a solution. So can I have you guys tell me in the chat, what is a solution in number 6? Tell me one of the ordered pairs. Like, let's see here. I'll give you one. Let's see the point 1, -1. This point right here is a solution. 1, -1 is a solution. Can you guys tell me another solution for number 6? Name another point in the shaded area. 2, 3, let's see. To the right, 2, up, 1, 2, 3. Perfect. Yes, it is. The point 2, 3 is a solution. Can I have, I know there's only 3 of you guys. Can I have you all give me a solution? So I'm looking for like 2 more
5,
solutions.
3.
5, 3. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. 5, 3. Yes, it's a solution. Yes, it is a solution. 5, 3. Perfect. Let me see. I think that was Anessa that spoke up, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Caitlin, are you able to tell me a solution? Any in the shaded area would be a solution. So you could pick any of those points here. That would be a solution. But let's go on to not a solution. Okay, so no, not a solution. That's going to be anything over here in the non-shaded area. So like the point -3, 0. Also, -3, 0. That's not a solution. Any of the points on this shaded, or sorry, on the dashed line is not a solution. So dash line, not a solution. Okay, if it's on the dashed line, it's not a solution. Okay, but if it were a solid line like number 3 that we did there, you could pick a point on a solid line and then yes, it would be a solution. So point, whoops, write this down, point on solid line is a solution. And then point on dashed line is not a solution. Okay, so I know we don't really have any questions like that on our assignment for today, but it's still really important for you guys to know and understand what's a solution, what is not a solution. Anything in the shaded area is always a solution. Sometimes dots on the line are solutions. Sometimes dots on the line are not a solution. If it's on a dashed line, not a solution. Solid line, yes, it's a solution. Okay. So I'm going to zoom out here. Hopefully that was enough for you guys to be able to finish working on numbers 1 through 6. Let me help you guys out here. Numbers 4 and 5. For M, let's see number 4. What is M? What's in the same spot as M? I'm not going to do this one, just helping you guys out. Same spot as M, it's the number in front of X. And for this one, M equals 1. You can put your invisible 1 in front of that X right here for number 4. And you'll do the same thing for number 5. I'm just giving you guys little tips and pointers. You're going to do the same thing for number 5. Put that invisible 1. So that means M equals 1 for number 5. Okay, and I'll do one last thing here. If your M is positive, you're going to go up and to the right. If M is negative, you'll go down and to the right. Okay. So let's see. Number 1, is M positive or negative for number 1?
Negative.
M is negative. So that slope, you would go down and to the right. Same thing for number 2. Number 2 is negative. You go down and to the right. Let's see. Number 4. Which way would you go for your slope for number 4 since it's positive?
Up and to the right.
Up and to the right. Yeah. Perfect. Okay. So I think you guys should be good. You're only doing page 1. Don't worry about page 2. So just finish. You need to do all of those questions, numbers 1 through 6. Make sure you also identify your solution. Just put a nice big S over it so we can see what is a solution, what's not a solution. And that is it. Do you guys have any questions for me?
Yeah. What about if M is a fraction?
If M is a fraction, we actually want it to be a fraction. So like, let's look at number 6 again. Number 6, because I think you're referencing number 2, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's look at number 6. Number 6, originally it said M equals, oops, it said M equals, if I can scroll down here. It said M equals 6. We actually want it to be a fraction, so we had to make it a fraction by putting it over the invisible 1, right? So it's actually better when it's already a fraction like number 2, because you can just write out M equals the negative 1 over 3, okay? It's already a fraction. You don't have to turn it into a fraction. So from there, since it's negative, you go down 1, right 3. Since that whole entire thing, you see a negative sign right here, the entire fraction is negative. So this is the way you would go down the top number, the numerator, and then to the right, the denominator, the bottom number. Does that answer your question?
Yes.
Yeah? Okay, so if you guys have any other questions, you can stay here and ask me. If not, you can go ahead and log out. You're only working on page 1, all 6 of those questions. Make sure you identify your solution, submit the picture, and then also one last thing, tomorrow, normally we only do our Teams meetings on Tuesdays and Thursdays, but this week there's no school on Friday, and there's a quiz this week, but it's got to be on the last day. So I have right now the quiz is on Thursday. So that means tomorrow at 8 a.m. we're going to have another Teams meeting to go over more stuff. So hopefully you guys can join me tomorrow at 8 a.m. If not, it's okay because I know it's not our normal schedule, what we've been doing. But just know that tomorrow we have a meeting and then we will not have a meeting on Thursday because Thursday is a quiz. Okay? All right, so you guys can go ahead and log out, do this assignment. If you have questions, you can stay here. And that is it for today. Bye, guys.